So Nintendo just released a new trailer explaining more about Mario 35 and the new Bowser's Fury. Looks like Sonic and Goku aren't the only ones who go super now. LucasArts has now announced that they are going into gaming again. LucasArts Films Gaming will now be handling some Star Wars licensing, besides EA, as well as making other games, such as Indiana Jones. What does that mean to you? And will it affect your childhood like everyone else with the prequel films? And Capcom got breached last November. But it's not just the company, it could be your personal data as well. What does that mean for you and how can you counteract it? We'll find out now. So pick a character, ready up, and let's go around. Our residents today, we have our tour guide of Raccoon City and fighting game enthusiast, AJ.
Oh.
Then we have our other Gundam enthusiast, as well as Amiibos are pay to win. We're still going to get that topic one day. StarWind. And our fact checker extraordinaire, Bugz, who hopefully doesn't let us down like last time.
I will try my
host,
best.
The shade.
You better, because I look like an idiot on the last one. We all did. Oh, I got chewed out by friends. Oh, don't worry. I'll yell at you later after this. And I'm your host, Zero. Just a regular guy who loves games and might be a little bit better in fighting games. Who knows? So, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining again. How's everyone's weekend? Or week?
Decent, right? I feel like we've had a pretty chill week from the last time. The week went a little slow.
I've been having a terrible week, but that that intro just brightened up my whole mood.
I don't know what I want to cut out now.
What did you guys do this week?
Work.
Work, games, stuff like that.
Unemployed.
Actually, I've been trying to catch up with my battle pass for Apex. So I'm at level 92.
Oh, that pay to win?
My God.
That pay to win. I've only lost one like 1,000.
Also, don't forget that if you're watching this, hit that subscribe button down below and give us a thumbs up. Gotta shill it out, you know? You gotta shill it out.
Right? And don't forget to punch that notification bell.
Oh yeah, press the notification bell.
Until like we do the ad read, which is water. Have you drank enough today?
Are you wearing your mask when you go outside?
Yeah, because God knows you don't be fucking like New York, man.
Yeah, just maybe we'll make that a sponsor. Wear your mask. By us.
Exactly. By being a decent human being, just wear a mask.
Exactly. Yeah, I basically for my weekend or my week, my friend, she took me to a bookstore that I'm now like in love with. Only problem is some things are a little bit pricey, especially since it's like a secondhand market. And also, I'm never going to be riding the subways ever again. After what just happened. Basically, I just had a crazy guy like yelling and screaming at us, and I was like in fight or flight mode. Like I'm thinking it's an RPG. I'm just waiting for my turn to go so I can make my move. And my move was either going to run or fight.
I just imagine.
Luckily,
Ichiban.
that did not come.
The Ichiban popped in my head. Yeah, the Yakuza 7 just came out real quick.
Vagrant homeless man appears.
Every trailer in New York City.
That was amazing.
So bring up like what they did for the week, or
let's see. I worked, and then on this day I also worked, and then yesterday I worked, and I just got out of work.
That sounds productive.
The most productive man here.
Facts. The most productive. Wow.
Guys, you won't believe what I'm doing tomorrow.
Are you working?
Damn, how'd you know?
I don't know, man. I just assumed that you want to stay as productive as humanly possible. I video games, right? Streaming. I think that's what I mean.
You said you were streaming Smash.
Yes.
The other day.
At twitch.tv/resident of raccoon.
Big shout out to Dark.
I jumped into his stream by accident. I didn't even know he was streaming.
He did. Because I was waiting for StarWind to play a Smash, and he came in and he was in the bodega. And he was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Oh, okay." Lots of noise. It was funny though, because we got to talk, and then I promoted the podcast a little bit on the stream.
Perfect.
So, yeah. What about you, StarWind?
Same thing. There's been gaming, and I'm gonna figure out how to stream. That's gonna be something I'm gonna start doing now.
I'm gonna help him out.
Hey,
Started, man. You'll be the next Bell Dean soon enough. Don't worry.
Oh.
I don't know how I feel about that comment.
I mean, look, if I can get like a mass following as her, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I just wouldn't do the OnlyFans stuff. That's about it.
Nah, man, I feel like her Twitter is so problematic. I wouldn't want to have to deal with none of that drama. That seems like too much.
Oh man.
I mean, no one's asking
To
you.
handle that Twitter account.
No one's asking you to post weird pictures on Twitter, though.
That's
why-
why,
that's
I
why
feel
you-
like it's her job at that point. So
But that's
she
why you keep
needs
it
to post
behind
up weird.
the paywall on OnlyFans.
Yeah, but you gotta give them like some taste, man.
You gotta
like when
promote
you're
that.
dealing something. You gotta
You gotta-
give them a taste.
That's why you take lewds.
Exactly.
you gotta give
Alright,
them a
before we-
preview before the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get off that topic before we get demonetized. So Nintendo just released a new trailer for Super Mario 3D World, as well as the add-on Bowser's Fury, and it showed a whole lot more. We now have a new Catsuit Mario, which basically goes Super Saiyan, a new Cat Bowser that looks like it's covered in ink, and I'm going to call it the God Slayer Bowser, because Jesus Christ, that looks amazing, but the real name is Fury Bowser. I know, real original Nintendo. And as well, the game looks like it's a completely brand new engine. Like, it could have been coming from Mario's Odyssey, because it looks like a whole new brand new game. Did any of you guys see the trailer? Or, like, the
Mhm.
add-on that they explained everything about?
I saw the first trailer.
Yeah, the first trailer I saw.
I saw
Those-
both of them.
Alright, so Starwin would know
course.
this. So this is just going to be, like, recap for him for the test. So
them.
the new game mode is basically going to be you on, like, a island that has, like, multiple islands. It's basically like Catland or something like that. And apparently Bowser is furious, and Bowser Jr. looks like he's needing Mario's help to kind of calm down his father. So you're basically running around this whole island trying to collect cat sprites or cat shines. And basically when you collect a good amount of them, Bowser and you will fight when you activate the sacred bell of the kittens and go Super Saiyan, basically.
I feel like this
Oh.
game is targeting towards cat ladies.
Cat ladies or any guy who has an affiliation for cat
Furries?
girls.
Well, Star, you
Yeah,
have a
furries
cat.
too.
I do.
Does this make you want the game even more so you can be like, look, that's you up there?
I want the game less.
You can see StarWind cosplaying as Mario in a cat suit with his cat.
No, I gotta be Bowser, and she's gonna be the Super Saiyan Mario.
She's Bowser
Ooh.
Jr.
Awesome.
She's trying to help stop you.
And
She wants to
put her in a
calm you
little clown
down.
car.
She pissed on your sheets one too many times.
Oh God.
I feel
So
like
just from like that description alone, do you guys feel like this is gonna make you more enticed to buy the game? Or I've already played 3D World, I don't need to do it again.
I already played 3D World and I don't need to do it again. Sorry,
Uh,
not to be the sour Debbie Downer of the group, right? Whatever it is, but I hate cats, so cats don't.
I thought
entice
because
me.
you're allergic to them. That's not fair.
No, I can't stand them. They're just the worst. I'm sorry to any people who love cats.
I feel like you
So
only say
You're
that because
offending
you
me and
can't get near
Starwood,
one.
basically.
but you sound like my mother right now.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but
She hates cats. I don't like that's so wrong.
oh man, I can't. But I don't even is the Bowser's Fury multiplayer?
Yes, it's actually going to have multiplayer. One person will play as Mario, and the other will play as Bowser Jr.
So it's
and
not
Bowser Jr.
It's not
will
four
help
player.
out.
It's not four player like
Not
the original.
4-player, only 2-player.
Oh, okay.
But they did announce there will be online multiplayer for 3D World. So if you can't sit next to someone because of COVID, you could just play online with them.
That's interesting, I guess.
I mean, you kind of figured that was going to happen. I mean,
We'll
the
see
whole
how.
like appeal of those are just like the multiplayer aspect of it, like the couch co-op.
I wonder how the 4-player netcode will be then, because
Probably god awful.
yeah.
They also don't have a way to chat, so you're gonna have to like pick up Discord or something else to like talk to your friends while you're playing.
I feel like they might implicate like the app for it. Like, you know how they have like the Switch app, and you can use game chat for Animal Crossing, Splatoon, Smash, and certain other games. So maybe that might be the case for it. Maybe we might get an update for that.
By a show,
And
of,
that shit
I mean,
is
by a
god
sh-
awful. Don't no one use that.
I was about to say by a show of but not hands, but eyes. Who has the app?
I have that,
Oof.
but I don't use it at all. I've only
I-
used it to scan codes for Animal Crossing. That's it.
What app?
Exactly.
I use it for when someone like wants to act all great in Smash and they start teabagging, and after I kick their ass, I just go on the mic and I was like, "Yep, you're done. You can get out now. Game's over for you."
They can hear you regardless.
I think they can. If not, I'm just looking like an idiot.
You're probably just talking to
myself.
yourself.
Probably just talking to myself. So I'm just
Yeah.
looking like an idiot.
Hey, at least you're getting your anger out some way, right?
Yeah, but you know, if anyone walks by and they're just like listening in, they're like, "That poor man."
You're
he's
just
arguing
yelling
with
at your
people
phone.
online." Yeah,
Well, here's the thing. They'll probably think it's normal since we're in New York.
yeah, that's
Self-toxic.
yeah. But then they think like their neighbor's a fucking crazy guy right there on the street, and he's just crazier indoors.
Well, I don't know, man. I think the game, if it's running on the Odyssey engine, which apparently is the Unreal Engine 4, but I just found that out like last week. I guess it looks fine. Like Mario Odyssey looks good. I like the way Mario Odyssey looks, but
It was great. I loved it.
I don't know. I just can't. I still can't support the $60 price point.
So AJ's out. StarWind Bugz. What's your verdict on it?
I mean, it does look great. I'm not really big on Nintendo games, but and now knowing that it's actually going to be 60, I'd probably not get it. I'll probably just wait and just borrow it off a friend or something.
All right, Darwin. What about
Yeah,
you?
you're looking like the odd man out. I'm not going near that game at all.
Well, I'm glad you all said that, because what happens if I told you Nintendo might pull this game after Mario's 35th? Because apparently the company has said that they will be taking away certain Mario titles to help celebrate Mario's 35. Such titles right now that we know of include Super Mario All-Stars 3D and the new release Mario 35, where it's like a battle royale but for classic mode. So what happens if they say this game will be taken off as well? Will this entice you more to buy it, or just hate Nintendo more?
Hate Nintendo more.
They're definitely not going to do that though. At least not for this title.
Who knows? Like we need to wait until like the day comes out, and then there's going to be like an announcement saying limited time only and limited supplies and physical copy, which I'm not going to believe is true, because they said that with Mario 3D Superstar, and that thing is still in Target right now. Like I just see a stack of them.
Now, what's definitely going to happen is that they're going to re-release the games in the All-Star Collection on the Virtual Console, making people double dip for them, or having to buy the Nintendo subscription. And then the Mario 35 is probably going to get dropped so that they can use the service for that for the 3D World. That seems like the most logical, because they don't want to have to keep spending money for those services. That's a free game, and you know how Nintendo is. They want to make money as much as possible, so they're going to drop the free game, have you pay $60 for their brand new game so you could play online, and keep paying for that Nintendo subscription. That's $80 right there. Poof. They need that money.
Or they just drop the Nintendo 35, the Mario 35 game, and then they're just like, here, now you can play Zelda 35 with like 35 other people.
This is true. I definitely think they're just going to rebrand it. They're using the servers up for something else. That's the only reason they're taking it down. But right now, Nintendo's just trying to stay as relevant as possible.
Yeah, it's hard.
And
It's hard.
yeah, and this new Mario game is definitely them just trying to make back as much money as possible from the failure of the Wii U. That's why they're just, it's an old game. They don't have to like really do much. They're reusing a bunch of assets. They make a tiny add-on so they can charge you $60 again. They're just trying
I
to
feel
make
like that's just what like every port that they're putting out for like the Wii U games.
Yeah.
Because they put out, what was it? Bayonetta again. They enticed you because they include Bayonetta 1 as a download. Then you had Tokyo Mirage that was coming back, and then for Mario Kart, instead of making a new one, they just ported 8 and they added in like 2 new characters.
Yep. All the DLC.
Yeah.
All the DLC, and then they added like 1 or 2 more characters in there.
Pikmin 3 also falls to this category.
Yes.
You know, the sad thing is I bought Pikmin 3 and still have not touched it yet.
For the Switch?
Yeah.
Did you buy it for the Wii as well? The Wii U?
No, I got that for free. I forgot when, but they had like a special thing where it's like you can download one of these 3 games. It was like Wind Waker, Pikmin 3, or a Mario game, and I went with Pikmin because I already had Wind Waker HD.
This Pikmin was also $60.
Yep.
Yeah, but I didn't pay for it that time, but they got me this one. So
Oh man.
kudos to you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another Nintendo game that got re-released from the Wii U.
I'm not sure.
There was
I wouldn't know.
Tropical Freeze.
Yes.
Tropical Freeze.
Yes, that did. I didn't buy that one
then
either.
they added Funky Kong in there.
And then they also started porting 3DS games because Fire Emblem Warriors and Hyrule Warriors were Wii U and 3DS games. They got ported over to the Switch.
Oh, they did port that one as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hyrule Warriors, they ported the Wii U and 3DS one over with like all the DLC. But Fire Emblem Warriors was actually for Switch and 3DS only. I didn't think they make a Wii U version for it.
No, it was just a 3DS game, and then it got ported over to the Switch.
Oh, it was originally a 3DS game? I thought they came out at the same time. Or like it was Japan first that got it.
Yeah.
Japan first that got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just can't support the $60 price point shit, man. Like this shit is ridiculous.
And then it'll never really go on sale.
Like
the cheapest you'll get is like
games
$42.
never go on sale. They like rarely do.
Like
My money can go to something more productive.
Facts or a better game, like a brand new game. You know, like
maybe we'll see that part of Mario's 35th. Like maybe we'll see a little bit more. Maybe Bowser's Fury is like a taste as what to come.
Like I pre-ordered Strikers last week. They offered, you know, when you put things in your car and they like have the little recommendations, and it was like, oh, Super Mario 3D. I was like, fuck out of here! I'm already spending $65 on this. A brand new game. And then like fucking Sony and Xbox.
But not to mention you love Persona. Persona's a passion for you also.
Yeah, true, right? But
wait, you're getting Strikers for the Switch?
You would have got the game regardless.
I'm not getting it for Switch. Fuck no. I'm not supporting Nintendo. I'm getting that shit on the PlayStation 4.
I'm still debating if I want to get it for PS4 or Switch.
Oh man, I want mine to look as beautiful as possible on.
Well, I feel like if they offer like some in-game content, like if you played like Persona and Persona Royale and you get it for a PS4, you get like a little add-on or like costumes, I'd go for it. But
they already said that.
Oh, so then the hell with them. I might just go with Switch then. Just because I love having games on the go and I can finish them a whole lot faster.
Oh, well. I'm stuck home, though.
He's quarantined.
Yeah.
There's no incentive.
And I'm going back to school next month. Oh, no. I'm definitely... This is a lot easier for me. But even like... Man, like... First party Sony games and like brand new Sony and Xbox games, they're like $70, man. Like, you know, that already hurts my heart enough. Yeah, thankfully Hitman is $60. Thankfully they didn't charge me $70 for that one, so that's good.
But I'm telling you, man, just this Mario 35, I mean, they're trying to build up like that hype for it, and especially with them saying like we're going to be taking away games soon, it just makes me curious as to which games, and will they be coming back later on, or are they planning to release like some special edition of it or like some new added on feature?
I don't think the Mario 3D World is going to be taken down, only because it's a month away. Like it comes out in February, and then March 31st is the last like date to get the 3D All Stars. I think it's just a little too close. I think the reason they did it with 3D All Stars was simply because Nintendo really didn't come up with anything special last year. You know, like Xenoblade came out, and like, you know, you guys like Xenoblade. I haven't played it. I have to get around to playing it.
If you ever want to play, man, I got the games.
So I hear it's beautiful. I hear it's amazing. You know, that game gets nothing but praise. But you also have to think that like, what audience is it targeting, right? Is it hitting that Animal Crossing, that Super Smash Brothers, that any like type of Mario 3D World or whatever it is audience? You know, that's not really driving sales for them. What else came out last year? I don't remember.
Just want to add
Origami King.
What?
Oh yeah, Origami King. Origami King came out.
Paper Mario.
Origami. Yeah, and what are the sales for that?
Let's ask our fact checker extraordinaire, Bugz. What do you got for us? If you
Bugz.
have
My
the sales?
job.
Tell us the sales for Paper Mario Origami King.
was gonna say, like, you were saying, like, people from the Smash community would probably go to Xenoblade and be like, "I like Shulk. Let me play this game." Do you think they go in there like very disappointed and be like, "He doesn't have the Smash Monado in this. What the hell is this? A turn-based RPG? I'm out of here."
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people have that open-mindedness that, you know, we do, right? We see things and we're intrigued. We try new things. We expand our mind to other games. A lot of you got to think about like the average Switch player. They're not really doing that. You know,
They just like see a character. It's like, "Oh, cool, they're in this game," but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into like their other games
yeah, exactly.
because I feel like that's what happened with me. I got into Xenoblade because of Smash for 3DS and Wii U, and I actually picked up Dragon Quest 11 for the Switch because of Hero. I was like, "Oh, this character seems interesting. Let's check out this game." Also, I like Akira Toriyama, so there we go.
Yeah, so like you said, you're open-minded. You're open to trying these things. You know?
Yeah.
I go on like Twitter and I see like, what was your hype level for like Sephiroth? And like 75% of the comments are like, oh, I never played a Final Fantasy game, but he looks cool, I guess. And it's just like, there's, you know, that niche
Saw a
audience.
video of that.
We're kind of the minority, right? Like those people who
I don't know, man, if we're like that minority of like, "Oh yeah, I played the game." I feel like a lot of people have. It's just you're seeing a lot of the people who are like, "Oh, it's Sephiroth. That's okay. That's cool. He's from an anime." I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Get hyped. PogChamp.
I think
Yeah,
the
I think-
PogChamp. Poggers.
Yeah, they say PogChamp in real life.
Poggers.
I would
that's right.
say this goes back to what you were saying before about games being so expensive. Not everyone can buy so many titles, especially the way that this past year has been.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people are only staying or playing the games that they think are safe, that they know that they're gonna like. So why take a chance on a game that you're not that familiar with?
Yeah.
When you could just play something that you already know you're gonna like. Like that's why so many people buy the NBA games and the Call of Duties, because it's something that they're familiar with. It's not,
Even though it's the same crap every goddamn year.
and that's what
I
they
will say
want.
this. I am surprised though. There have been a lot more demos coming out recently because I feel like ever since COVID, they've been actually putting out demos to try and entice people more. Since you can't have like promotional events where it's like a pop-up shop, try out the game and play. So
Because
I'm
people are
actually
home.
liking that. Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually liking that because I miss playing game demos. Like that was like a very big feature back in like the past 2 generations of gaming.
Yeah.
Like I remember staying up for like one Regents exam, not to study, just so I can play Devil May Cry 4's demo.
So I mean the point I was trying to get to earlier was just like I think that they didn't have anything that like blew people's minds last year. So they released this collection, and in order for them to feel like they can make a strong profit to make up for a lot of other things, they just said we're gonna take it down on the March 31st, right? So what did that do? People fucking pre-ordered it.
So-
People went
oh, yeah.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
People bought it.
A
That game
lot of scalpers
sold.
too.
Yes, exactly. So it's like
Trying to close out the fiscal year super strong.
exactly. That's all it really was. And I don't think that Super Mario 3D World is going to be their fiscal quarter big closeout, because the quarter ends in March, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be their big thing. I think they're hoping for
Something bigger.
what happened?
Something bigger.
I mean, I think there'll be something bigger after that, yeah. But
I mean, Monster Hunter Rise. That's
That's
probably
coming
gonna
out, yeah.
really help for like their big quarter right there. Like that's gonna be their big closer, I guess.
Super
Because
Mario
a lot of people
3D
have been hyped for
World
that.
plus 2 new
Bowser story.
Smash fighters, right? So they're hoping on some DLC sales. I don't think anything else came out this month. So
As well, amiibos are going to be pushing for them as well
And the
because we
amiibos,
got
yeah.
we're going to be getting the other 3 DLC characters from Smash: Banjo-Kazooie, Terry, and Byleth, as well as Cat Mario, Cat Peach,
Mhm.
and we're also getting the Monster Hunter Rise figures as well, like
Yeah.
the dog and the cat, the Palico.
hmm
So those are definitely going to be helping out Nintendo a bit, especially since they just also announced that Cat Mario will be unlocking like a special cat like suit that makes you invincible. It's like the Tanuki suit. It's like the Tanuki suit, but you don't need it. It's just a cat, and then Peach just drops off a
To
random.
my
item.
mind too. I was like, someone's gonna say pay to win.
Oh man, it was that pay
I
to
was
win.
waiting for that, and I'm just like, hold your tongue, don't say anything, don't yell, don't freak out.
Also, Age of Calamity, right? Because people bought Age of Calamity just because it's Breath of the Wild.
It
Yeah,
sold
true.
so damn well, and the game is not even that good. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Disagree. I think that game's
How,
amazing.
wait, see, but my question is, how many Warriors games have you actually played?
A lot. Like I've played the Gundam Dynasty Warrior games. I've played the Fire Emblem one. The Hyrule Warriors that was originally for the Wii U. I got, I'm like an idiot. I got it for the Switch. I still haven't even like finished it or even like really touched it. But I was on Age of Calamity so much because the story was great. The fact that they were able to really
That cookie
like,
cutter story?
Here we
listen,
go.
that story was good because now it opened up the doors for what can we expect from Breath of the Wild 2. You know, I'll save that for like Zelda cast like later on when we start talking about that because I feel like the game's still a little fresh. Some people haven't finished it yet, and there are like some key spoiler moments. So I'm just gonna hold off. I'm just gonna say the story was great. I love the fact that Nintendo helped the company with it. Like they worked together, so this could still be potentially in the Zelda timeline, unlike Hyrule Warriors. So it'll be interesting. And Bug, you got those sales numbers for us, or you can find anything?
Oh no, I had something. I was looking for something else. But yes, Paper Mario Origami King was apparently the fastest selling. It sold 2.82 million copies in less than 3 months. And on the previous Super Paper Mario on the Wii was the previous record holder, reporting shifting 2.28 million units in about a year. Despite losing the title as the fastest selling Paper Mario entry, Super Paper Mario still has the most lifetime sales of approximately 4.23 million.
That makes sense. It's out longer.
Yeah, it was out longer. A lot of people went out for it more.
Yeah. But then
So-
also not a lot. They're like what, 3 people that own the Wii U? Me, you, and StarWind.
Yeah, but then again, that game got like bombarded with like mixed like reviews and mediocre reviews.
I
Origami
feel like the
King.
same thing happened to Origami King had the same thing happen to it.
Yeah, it's mixed as well.
I really like
Good
Origami
games.
King.
Yeah,
I played the shit out of
like
that game.
when Starwin told me that he loved it, I was just kind of like, "What, really?" I've already seen like 10 videos of people just hating it. So usually you're the one that hates things.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't really trust a man who hates amiibos and say they're play to win, but
Oh, okay.
I'll take your word.
I don't hate amiibos. I have so many of them. I don't hate them. I don't like the idea of using them to
succeed.
win in games. All right, I don't like that.
all right. But my number one question is: do you remember Codename Steam?
Yeah, where you can play as Fire Emblem characters with Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
think that was a great idea with the amiibos, or not really? Like for that one game, I felt like that was great.
It was so random. Like there was no real connect. Like it was like I feel like the idea was cool, but the application I was just like, oh, like I don't care about this.
I have no clue what we're
I
talking
really
It's
don't.
about.
because it was made by the guys who did Fire Emblem. Like that was like their passion project. It was like I want a game where Abraham Lincoln, John Adams, or John Henry, the guy with the hammers, and what was it? The line from the Wizard of Oz, all team up together and under Abraham Lincoln's
The
orders.
Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, he wasn't that cowardly in the game.
Is this how you feel sometimes, Bugs, when you just don't know what's going on? My head hurts.
A little bit, yeah.
Wow.
Do you feel better if we move on to another topic like Star Wars?
Oh, that was good. I was
no.
searching something that might be used for later.
Yeah, I mean, if we have time, sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go back to it.
What is it?
Yeah,
Wait, what is it? Bring it up real quick.
no, most likely it'll pop up again, but you know.
Okay.
Oh wait.
The
If we don't
mystery
get
of the
back to it, just
podcast.
scream it out really quickly at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
close it out with that. All right. Go
All
ahead.
right, so we all love Star Wars. We're all excited for the games, especially since Squadrons was a real big hit, and Fallen Order was a very major sleeper surprise for everyone, especially since this is Respawn's first involvement in a non-shooting game. So the big thing now is LucasArts is coming back, but it's now being rebranded as LucasArts Gaming, not LucasArts Gaming, LucasArts Gaming. God damn, I keep saying LucasArts. Lucas Gaming Film.
It's like embedded in your mind.
Because that's all I can remember when playing those Star Wars games, man. It just was there. So Disney is reviving the game division for that. But not only are they doing that, they are now licensing out other Star Wars games to other companies, such as Ubisoft. So what does that really mean for EA? Right now, the one thing we know about the game that's being licensed out to Ubisoft is that it's going to be an open world RPG, almost like KOTOR. So do you guys feel like this is going to be a little bit more pressure on EA to kind of step up their game a little bit, or is there going to be losing the license? Or do you feel like this will be some friendly competition? Everything's going to be going out very well.
I think Disney is leveraging their business standpoint to a bunch of companies to get as many games out as possible for as cheap as possible. They probably have weird licenses in work where they're like talking to Ubisoft. They're like, hey, I know you haven't had like a Star Wars game, so why don't you do it for X amount price and push it out first, and they'll just promote the shit out of them and hopefully work with them again. I think that's how Disney's working.
Well, do you remember that EA got into a lot of trouble, especially with Star Wars Battlefront 2, because of their pay-to-win aspects and a lot of the microtransactions? So do you feel like that was probably like Disney being like, hey, you screwed up, we gave you a shot, make your last 2 games and then get the hell out?
Not at all. I don't think Disney cares about that at all. Disney just wants the money.
Disney doesn't
They
give a
don't
fuck.
care.
Disney,
Yeah, they don't care who's making it.
Disney does pay to watch. They fucking charge
Yeah.
you $30 to watch Mulan on a service you were already paying for.
Mhm.
In all fairness, if you paid for it, you're the sucker. You already knew they did not have the song of Make a Man Out of You. So it was going to be a hard pass no matter what.
Still, they still
Glad to
did it
watch it.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it
what
doesn't
does that
stop.
say about the people who are like, yeah, I'm okay without that song? That just shows that person has no soul or
But
rhythm in
we're
music.
also the people that buy amiibos and don't use them.
Speak for yourself. I still use mine, all right? All those
I
Smash
feel like
characters, they got my data in there.
I feel like we can
Not
add
great,
that to anything though.
but good.
So I feel like at the end of the day, it just doesn't fucking matter. Like Disney's just like, I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, microtransactions, cool. That's more money in our pockets, cool. Like, do it. They don't have a problem with that.
I think they just like said like, oh, we're upset, just to kind of like blend in with the gamers, be like, yeah, I'm on your side on this. Just keep releasing it a little bit more.
I
Has
think
Disney ever taken a stand against the microtransaction?
no.
No, they
Yeah.
did. They kind of well, not really. No, they didn't really commend them for it. They were like, we hear you, and we're not happy with this. It's like Trump saying, like, he reprimanded the Proud Boys. He's like, hey, stand down and stand by. It's like, you did nothing.
And
then they
Just
keep on.
agitated.
And they just keep going. It just doesn't matter. I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Starwin, go ahead.
Disney just wants the money. I really think that Disney is just talking to a bunch of other developers, and they're trying to get the most out of their franchise as possible. Because right now, the Star Wars comic books are dying out because of what they're doing, and the movies, from at least from my knowledge, didn't do as well as they hoped. Disney considers them flops, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, because they wanted it to hit a lot higher than it did. Because it also failed in China. So right now they're just trying to do anything to breathe life back into that franchise. So they figured, hey, why don't we try a bunch of other companies that are prominent in the video game community, see if they could bring people back to liking Star Wars. The same way that how Marvel blew up, they're trying to do the same thing for Star Wars again.
I feel like they probably did already get that market with the Mandalorian and Fallen Order. Like they really did, like breathe life into like what happened with the newer trilogy, because everyone's in love with it. And with the Mandalorian, a lot of people are now like talking about like how is like this going to tie into like Force Awakens and everything like that.
Well, The Mandalorian is producing big numbers, right? No one can deny that. The child alone, Grogu, is producing big numbers.
It's Baby Yoda to those who don't.
Yeah.
It's Baby Yoda to
Who don't accept that name.
No, sorry,
Yeah.
I don't mean disclaimer, right? If you're sensitive, but if you call it Baby Yoda, you're not a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry.
Just opened up the floodgates to so many comments being like, look at this son of a bitch saying that it can't be called Baby Yoda. It's Baby
it's
Yoda.
not Baby Yoda. I'm sorry. I correct anyone who calls it Baby Yoda. I don't give a fuck
I
who
will
you
call
are.
him Baby Yoda as long as I want.
I don't care if you're
Yours-
75 years old and don't know a clue. You're gonna get corrected.
So everyone, we're gonna give out AJ's Twitter address after this. You can debate him afterwards.
Hey, you can follow me on Twitter at Resident of R. I don't give a fuck. I will correct you in your own comment section. So,
Yeah.
um,
AJ is joining the ranks of Nintendo of worst villain of 2020.
that's impossible. They're worse than Thanos. Thanos at least had good motives. But
Bro.
they're collecting that money, right, through Mandalorian. They put the Mandalorian in Fortnite, so they're getting a cut of that, right?
Facts. What haven't they put in Fortnite?
Facts.
Yeah.
I feel like
Fortnite's is just a whore at this point. They just give money to whoever at this point.
yeah. And I think the way they're looking at it is has Marvel made decent money in video games recently?
Yes
No.
and no.
Nah, not at all.
Not at all.
I mean, I feel like they have with what you call it, Spider-Man, like the 2 Spider-Man games.
but that's
that's
not
Sony
Marvel.
getting that
That's not
money.
Disney. Yeah, that's Sony getting that money.
No, the way the well, I'm not sure if like the negotiations changed or not, but Marvel was actually getting everything from Sony basically. Like anything that was Spider-Man, they would get, but if it was movie-wise, they would not collect anything on that.
I don't think so.
Into the Spider-Verse, no, because I remember I looked into it when they were talking about like the deals and like Sony's like, no, we don't want to continue with this partnership. It was because merchandising, everything went to Marvel. Like the only thing that Sony had was just the box office numbers and the ticket pricings for that. So they were only getting that. They weren't getting a cut of video games. They weren't getting a cut of comic books, shirts, anything like that. And even if they were to make a statue, like let's say of Andrew Garfield from Amazing Spider-Man 2, they wouldn't get like any profits on that. That would still go to Disney and Marvel. So I'm not sure if they changed it.
Merchandising sales definitely go to Marvel, but the video games, that's all Sony. That's why they pushed out so many of them. There was that big gap where they put out Web of Shadows, Shattered Dimensions. Sony keeps pushing out the games because they want to keep the license. They make money off of that. That's the same reason why they made it an exclusive for the PS4 and the PS5. They definitely make bank off that.
I think they were just working with Marvel on that one because they were trying to sweeten the deal a little bit more to keep Spidey in the MCU a little bit longer. I mean, hell, Spider-Man was even able to go into Disney's parks for a while as well until everything, is kind of like settled down at this point.
Well, that's because Spider-Man's such a requested character by fans that you can't put Marvel into Disneyland and then not have Spider-Man because he's such a big character. That's why they have to come to some sort of agreement to have him in the park to get customers. Because even if Disney has to pay like a 2% royalty to Sony, they know that they're going to make it back because of all the kids that go to Disneyland just to see Spider-Man, to take those $35 pictures with Spider-Man, to pay to go see his ride and things like that. Because there's still Spider-Man rides at Universal.
Mm-hmm.
I went there. What was it? I think the beginning of 2019. Yeah, and there's Spider-Man rides there.
Yeah,
and
I'm assuming Spider-Man ride.
Yeah.
But
Sony
on top
definitely
of that,
makes money off of video games.
Think about that, right? So let's say 2% goes to Sony, right? That's 2% Disney ain't making. That shit ain't sliding. Right? Disney wants money. They're like Nintendo. They want fucking money. That's what they think about. It's money. What's gonna sell, right? Because when you're put in a predicament where like shit ain't selling for a while, right? You think about the Wii U and Disney pre-Marvel and stuff like that. They saw Marvel wasn't making enough money. They bought them because they wanted to add to their collection. They wanted to boost up those sales. Everyone gets a dry spell,
Yes.
And then when you start to make that money, it's like, okay, shit, like let's keep going, right?
Yeah.
Avengers and Ultimate Alliance 3 were the last 2 things. I'm not gonna count Spider-Man Miles Morales or Spider-Man PS4 because I still feel like Sony gets a cut of that, regardless. It's a Sony exclusive, whatever it is, right? Now, for Avengers, it flopped, right?
Hard.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance, niche audience. Not everyone.
No, it actually
and only on the Switch.
And only on
but
the
it's
Switch.
only on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's only on the Switch, but it actually did sell really well.
It sold well for Ultimate Alliance Switch standards. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't sell well for AAA video game title, like Avengers should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Avengers should have been like out the park right there.
Yeah. Now,
I feel like that's just like a misfire on Square Enix's part, really, because
marketing was pretty bad for it, I think. But
marketing, and also they do kind of like slack off a little bit when it comes to like games that they're like, oh no, this game's gonna sell amazing because Tomb Raider didn't meet expectations, Hitman didn't meet expectations. Like
didn't the first Tomb Raider sell really well?
It sold good, but it didn't hit their numbers, and that's what I'm saying. Like the games could sell like a great amount, like they can sell 3.9 million copies, but Square Enix will see it as a failure if it didn't hit their sales number, which is like 4 million or 5 million. And that's like what we're seeing with a lot of their games. It's like they get these great recommendations, great reviews, hit high numbers in sales, especially for like a niche audience for like Hitman. I don't feel like people are like clamoring for it and they're like screaming, but it's sold very well. But Square Enix still sees it as a failure.
Because it sold well to niche Hitman audience expectations.
Well, it just didn't meet their numbers. That's basically
that's
it.
all it is.
Yeah.
Square has a certain standard for that, you know? But
yeah,
I think that Disney now feels they want to not own the video game world.
Disney wants to own everything.
Okay, I guess you want to put it like that, right?
Disney does want to own everything. So,
how well did Battlefront 2 sell? Actually, tell me that. Can you pop that up?
2,
Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah. Tell me
I
how
feel
well
like that
sold.
Sold poorly, but at the end, it actually did do good because they were putting on sale and they were fixing up a lot of like problems.
But it was at a discounted price, so it's not like they were making a lot of money.
Discounted price or what? They're still selling. I mean,
yeah, but
as
if
long
a
as
game
they're
is
making
60,
money,
and then you drop it down to 20, and that's when it really starts to sell, you're eating $40.
Yeah, but it honestly just looks better when they say, "Oh, we sold like X amount of units or pushed this many units." So it's very weird how like marketing is in like the gaming industry, especially when I did like some beta testing for Spider-Man Unlimited. Like the way they were like telling me like how they were actually going under was just crazy to me because that game was actually very popular at the time.
So for Star Wars Battlefront 2, you have the PlayStation 4 version sold 38,769 copies within its first week. By December 2017, the game had sold over 9 million copies worldwide.
That's
in
its first
January,
week. That's bad.
Yeah, in January 2018, EA announced that the game missed their sales target as they had hoped to sell 10 million copies in that time, and blamed Loot Crate controversy.
Yeah, the game sold really
Also, that probably did hurt it,
and that affected Fallen Order and Squadrons. Like, so Disney's like, bet people like Star Wars games, right? Because the first Battlefront for EA sold really well, if I remember correctly.
Decent amount of numbers, yeah.
Which is why they went on and really quickly made 2, right?
Yeah, they want to like address like the issues that people had, which was a lack of multiplayer and a lack of features in the game because it was only just online.
And Disney ain't gonna give Star Wars to Square because they just flopped with Avengers, so they're gonna give it to other developers. They made Lucasfilm Gaming now to see if they can capitalize more on the video game department because they don't trust EA because EA flopped for them, right?
Yeah.
Avengers flopped and Ultimate Alliance didn't hit that expectation, that AAA title expectation. So they need to rethink their strategy, right? So they're going to throw Marvel to the side for a while. Marvel's sticking with movies and television. That's untouchable, right? That's always going to be untouchable no matter what. Star Wars, the movie realm, isn't doing as well it is. The TV show realm is, but video games, they can capitalize on video games.
I just find it interesting that they're wanting to do like this open world RPG when they cancel Star Wars 1313.
Because that wasn't Disney's game.
It wasn't Disney's game, but still when it came in, it wasn't Disney's game, but when they acquired like the licensings for it, they were the ones who actually put it on ice. They actually decided to cancel it.
Yeah, it wasn't their game. They were just like, we didn't okay this.
Yeah, that's not on Disney brand.
Yeah, this was
at the time it could have been Disney's brand because when it was in development, this was around the time when the acquisition went through and they got it. So even if it was like in development time when Lucasfilms was like around, Disney would have been getting the money no matter what.
Yeah,
so
but it's still that overrule, that emperor like dictator mentality of like, I didn't make this. Who is this man? Like, get this thing away from me. Like, we're gonna do.
Well, I was thinking more over the lines of them having to go in and like oversee the development of the game that was happening so far, and then deciding whether they wanted to continue with it or not. It would be much easier to just drop the whole project. Because like, let's say you go in and you don't like weird it's there, than to have to be like, hey, scrap everything you just did and then make the game from scratch. No one wants to go through that. That's time, that's money that they're not willing to spend on something.
Yeah, Like I said, I just find it weird because that game was getting like such like buzz on the media and everyone was like going crazy for it. Like I felt like they should have just kept it because I think that would have been like their fallen order right there. I think that would have helped brought people back into the Star Wars games again.
I would have loved to play as Boba Fett.
Exactly. Like that would have been a nice origin story for Boba right there.
Actually, now that I think about it, when Disney acquired Star Wars, they retconned a bunch of stuff. So maybe that's why they didn't want to do it, so that they can introduce the Disney Star Wars lore without having to introduce it into
but
a
they
game.
still like kept them around as legacies, and I think they were even going to be doing like more legacy stuff with like novels and everything.
But I think they're
Like, have, like,
rewriting
the
his
alternate
story, aren't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah, they're
rewrote
rewriting.
a bunch of the stories. They retconned a bunch of characters.
Yeah,
There's
but
like I
a lot
think
of them are just not
13
canon
years worth
anymore.
of novels that don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. Because
Same thing as the comics as well. Those aren't those don't count.
Because if you think about it, Disney can't retcon movies because the movies are the
They
movies. They can't.
You can retcon almost anything.
Well,
at this
they
point.
can, but can they really? You know what I mean? Like they know if they have the first 6 movies, they have to keep that. Like that bridging into their 3 movies and then their other 3 movies beyond is what's going to help them. Things like comics and novels and video games and little like series, those things they kind of don't matter. They matter to us, the people who read them and the people who love these stories and cherish them, but I always try to think of it in a mainstream mindset, you know?
Yeah.
I try to put myself in the casual viewer because the casual viewer doesn't give a fuck about comic books. They'll watch the movies, but they don't give a flying fuck about comic books or novels. No one wants to sit there and read a novel. So, what you do...
A lot of people don't know how to read, that's why.
you make that argument too. But they're going to retcon all that shit and give it to you in the form of a TV show where you're going to pay the $12.99 for the subscription service because people like to watch things, you know?
So my question is now, do you feel like this is going to be what's happening with Indiana Jones? Because Lucasfilm's gaming, they announced that they are making an Indiana Jones game, like it was teased. So do you feel like this is like their way of like bringing back Indiana Jones and continuing his story? Or do you think this is just going to be like a little thing that they're testing the waters to see if they should do anything else with Indiana Jones?
There's already a movie in production.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wasn't that supposed to be like Chris Pratt or something like that?
That I don't know about. If they end up rebooting it, I have no idea. But I just know that there's a 6 Indiana Jones movie in production. So maybe Harrison Ford's going to pass the mantle to Chris Pratt, but I have no idea. Maybe he's supposed.
Well, that was the thing. Wasn't he supposed to pass off to Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, but Shia LaBeouf's career
Skull
went down the toilet.
I mean, he has made a bit of a comeback. Have you seen
he's not
Peanut Butter
Disney
Falcon?
brand.
I mean,
He's not Disney brand.
Yeah, he's bad publicity.
Neither was Robert Downey Jr. at one point. But hey, they can turn back anyone's career right there. Only when they cannot redeem his
Disney didn't give him that chance.
I feel like
Marvel did.
I feel like if
Kevin Feige.
true, Marvel did.
Yeah. That wasn't Disney's choice. They had to deal with him already being there. And obviously a lot of people don't remember about his past because that was like from the 90s and stuff. And most people that like the Marvel cinematic universe don't know what he's been in.
Yeah. And no one cared about Iron Man. They didn't think Iron Man was going to do that well.
Yeah.
Disney was like,
no one knew Iron Man was going to do good.
Yeah. Everybody was waiting for Iron Man to flop. And then look what we got now, you know?
Yeah. So with this game, though, Indiana Jones, do you guys feel like that this is going to be like a continuation after Crystal Skull, or this is going to be like in between like the other previous games?
I think it's going to be its own separate thing.
Yeah, it'll be its own separate thing. I feel like this is also Disney's way of testing out if people give a fuck, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I think it's like them dipping their toe in the water to see, how warm it is or how cold.
It's Machine Gun that's doing this, right? It's the Wolfenstein guys.
Yeah.
I believe so. Can we get our fact checker on that?
Which is also why Disney and Lucasfilm Gaming, they are saying constantly, it's like, oh, Bethesda's making this. Bethesda. It's like,
yep.
If you slap Bethesda on it, they know it's gonna sell because it's Bethesda, right?
Yeah. I feel like the game will sell even more if they get Harrison Ford like recording as Indiana Jones.
He's so old though. He's not gonna.
That's the thing. I want it though. I want that so badly, and I just
he didn't want to be in the Star Wars movies at all.
Well, that's the thing. I just want an audience.
Yeah, I don't think he gives a fuck.
Listen, I just want an audio of him like in the booth, and he's like, "What do you want me to say?" All right, say, that belongs in a museum. I don't fucking care anymore. Just pay me $500 and I'll do any of this, and I'm dead. Kill me already.
I respect Harrison Ford because he always is honest about what he wants, and it's just money. He just wants to make money.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck what it is.
Like I said, I just want that audio in the game. That's all I want. Is just fucking kill me now. I'm
Oh,
done with this.
To answer your question, it was Machine Guns and Bethesda are partnering with Lucas Games on a standalone Indiana Jones game to be executive produced by Bethesda Game Studios director Todd Howard.
Todd Howard.
So we're gonna
Also-
get like 7 different versions of this for 7 different consoles.
the face of Fallout and Elder Scrolls is on this game.
Yeah. So. Oh god.
Just it's already gonna sell. That's it.
It's already gonna sell, and it's also gonna sell in like 7 other consoles. He's gonna put it out for the original Xbox, and they're gonna be like, "Todd, what the hell, man?" He's like, "Don't worry, I just want it out on this system."
Like,
But do you really think that Indiana Jones is still relevant to like the younger audience, like the mainstream people that play video games?
Fuck no.
I'm not.
I feel like it's not the younger, but I feel like people are gonna be like, "Oh man, Indiana Jones," and it's gonna build up like that hype right there. Like it's basically like here's the thing. How did you guys get into Star Wars? Was it because you randomly saw it or your parents introduced it to you?
My parents.
That's what's going to happen with, us. We're that generation. We know about Indiana Jones. We're going to see it and be like, "Oh, kids, check it out. This is Indiana Jones." Who? "Oh, you remember Lara Croft? This is the male version of that. Let's watch it and let's play it." It's going to be like that.
No, it definitely isn't gonna be like that. I was different as a child. I look at my brother all the time. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm
he
saying.
He wants to play Roblox and Fortnite all day.
Yeah, like if you take the Minecraft child and you show him this old dude with a whip, he's gonna be like, "No, I'm not playing this old shit."
He's gonna be like, "Dad,
This
I
is
got."
why you take away their iPads and everything like that. And you're like, "Well, too bad we're watching this instead."
Like, Dad,
child
I
is gonna
got
kill you.
Mandalorian and Master Chief 1v1 on Fortnite. I don't need that. I'm good.
Oh god.
Bruh, this is my friend Justin, and he's cracked at Footman.
I feel like
Yeah,
the it's not the Indiana Jones that's gonna sell in the new audience. It's gonna be the Bethesda that sells in the new audience. They know what they're doing. They chose the right publisher for it. Especially with that big acquisition by Microsoft. Boy.
So that means that's going to be an exclusive, a timed
Game
exclusive
Pass
right
game,
there. Yeah.
Game Pass game.
So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Developers mean everything, man. Developers mean everything.
That is true.
100%.
I don't think this game is gonna have a crazy big budget. Honestly,
I don't think it's
think
gonna
it's just-
make a lot either.
no, not at all.
Their sales numbers are just going to be like very low. Like they'll be like, if we can break 100,000, that's going to be a milestone itself. So it's going to be interesting to see, and it's going to be even more interesting to see the journey of Lucasfilm and gaming right there, because they were disbanded, they're coming back, so that means a lot of like the old properties that they once worked on are now going to be like coming back. And what's even more crazier is because Double Fine took like a lot of like their titles from there as well. So they got Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle. So all those past IPs, they're going to be starting all over again.
Do you think Disney cares about them though? Do you
No,
think
Disney-
Disney will go out
Disney
of their
doesn't
way
care.
to reacquire them?
No, Disney doesn't care about those. Double Fine already has them. They're already bought by Microsoft. They're not going to be going into a bidding war with them. I feel like they're just like, all right, let them out. They're gone to pasture. But the thing is, nostalgia is one hell of a drug, and that's why like Grim Fandango HD happened, Day of the Tentacle HD happened, and Psychonauts 2 is now like being a thing. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Psychonauts, isn't that coming to PlayStation?
No, it's an Xbox exclusive.
No, it's not an Xbox exclusive. It's
No?
PS4 as well. No, PS4 as well.
Really?
Yeah,
Check
yeah.
that,
I remember
Bugz.
seeing that.
I can tell you right now because I backed it, and like one of the things that they were saying that's going to happen to it, it's going to be a PC game, as well as a Xbox One and PS4 game.
I feel like I read somewhere that was going to be like one of the first Xbox exclusive games.
Because a lot of people were
Xbox,
questioning that.
PlayStation 2.
Psychonauts 2.
I think you're looking at first
Yeah.
Psychonauts.
We're looking for Psychonauts 2.
Because I got an email from Fig because after like the E3 showing of like Psychonauts and like them saying we now acquired Double Fine, email went out from Fig, the website that basically start the campaign and funded it. They
PlayStation
said,
4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and S.
No.
"Yep,
It's a timed exclusive. It's dropping first on Xbox.
Okay, that's what I read.
it's gonna be well, not interesting because this is like the same thing that happened with Shenmue. How it was going to be a timed exclusive for the EA store,
Oh.
not EA store, the Epic store." And a lot of people were pissed off because they wanted it for Steam, and a lot of people were trying to get their money back from an already over Kickstarter that happened 3 years ago.
Well, that game flopped anyways.
Yeah, it did.
Well,
Poor Shen.
yeah, poor Shenmue. They weren't even given a
Yeah.
chance, I feel.
Given a chance, it's just the director. He had a chance to actually close out the series, but he left it open again for like a fourth game, which wasn't really a smart move on his end.
Really? Because there were so many people that were so hyped for Shenmue. Why not give people more Shenmue? I feel like it's a smart way because then if it's left ambiguous, it could just either just end there or you could open up another way. It doesn't have to be a fourth
Yeah, you
game.
can end it. Like I feel like you can end the game series and then transition to a next generation. Like they closed out Uncharted with like a fourth game. Instead of them making a fifth one, you're probably going to be getting like his daughter, or you'll be getting like side stories from the girl who was basically banging him but also betraying him at the same time. So I feel like you can do things like this instead of just like leaving it ambiguous where it's like, oh, we have a next story to tell or another story to tell. It's like you should just stick to what you have, especially since Shenmue 3 was a miracle that even happened. Because honestly, I feel like without that Kickstarter, no one would have really gone for it again.
Yeah, because it destroyed the Dreamcast. That was the whole reason that Sega like ended up the way that it is now because of Shenmue. What they tried to do with it.
It was the same thing that happened with Microsoft as well. It went over to Shenmue 2 went over to Xbox, and it still didn't sell well, even though the console was like the newest, hippest thing at the time.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's a great way to end stories, to be ambiguous instead of like a clear cut ending. Because then what ends up happening is if a fourth one does end up coming out, they have to like change what happened in the other game. Ambiguous endings are, I think, cool.
Cool, but it doesn't really give like that satisfaction right there. Like I can tell you right now, Spider-Man's doing something like this in the comics, which is driving me crazy because I need answers. I really want answers, and then you can move on to another arc. But they're just leaving it at like this question mark. That honestly, it's just gonna drive me crazy. And for some people, that's where they jump off. That's where they're like, okay, time to abandon ship. I'm not getting the answers I want. I'm telling you, it's very hard to find like that fine line of like ending a series and continuing it on more. So it's gonna be interesting.
Blade
It's gonna be
Runner is
hard.
the exact same way, where it has a super ambiguous ending, and
Yeah, and
people
then
love
they-
the shit out of Blade Runner.
Yeah, but people usually just go towards the novels on like that one. Well, not novels, novel. And on top of that, they even retcon like what was said to be like the definitive ending with Blade Runner 2077.
I don't like that movie, so I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna address that movie.
I've never seen Blade Runner, so.
I just feel like
AJ,
when
what
you
is wrong
have
with you?
an ambiguous ending, it leaves it up to the audience to decide what really happens. Because then, like, if I feel a certain way about, like, if it touches me a certain way, I could be like, yes, this is what happened in my mind. I have my own happy ending. But if you feel a certain type of way about how the way the ending happened, like Shutter Island. Shutter Island has like a weird, ambiguous ending. The same thing with like Inception, where you like, if you want to feel that Leonardo DiCaprio's character is crazy at the end of Shutter Island, you can. Or you can just be like, he's a detective who's stuck now on the island. He's being held captive. Both parties end up with a good ending instead of like you having a set ending where I could just be like, oh, this ending is bullshit. I don't like this.
You son of a bitch! You ruined Shuttered Island for me.
It leaves it open, which I think is cool.
Nah, I agree with you on that. Just like
Fully
certain
Cooley's
things.
the same way.
Fully
what's-
Cooley is just like a freaking mess, man.
Fully Cooley is amazing.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I have like the manga for it as well, but it's a mess, but it's a good mess. Like I said, there's certain things where it can be left ambiguous, but for something like Shenmue, where it was really dragged through the mud and it went through hell just to being released for a second game and then the same thing again for a third game, I feel like they should have closed out, given fans the closure that they wanted. And if it did so well, they can start off with another series of it, like with a daughter or a son or something like that. So
That's so cliche, though.
I mean, it's cliche, but it gives people closure. And honestly, I feel like that's what you can offer to someone, especially after all these years of like not having anything. It's like one game called Haven. It was left very ambiguous because the main hero gets chained up and he's basically immortal now, so he's just stuck there. So now you're wondering, will he get off? And you don't know because they never made a second game.
Oh.
The company
But
went under shortly after.
30 years from now, they reopen it, they have the possibility to pick up from there.
Yeah, but then who's
It's not like
really
said
around to like
person-
remember that?
You.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll be there, but the information.
You are already the audience. You're already there.
You're
I'm
that.
not an audience. I just know of the story, and I just heard like how bad it was because of it.
But there's people like you also who remember it and would not mind dabbling into another world like that. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
that we're talking about, but in terms of ambiguous endings, I think sometimes I prefer them too. Sometimes
I prefer them too sometimes, but I feel like there's certain times where you just need to close out a story. That's just me right there.
The Shenmue character didn't age that much though, for you to just be like a close cut ending. Like he I feel like he's still fairly young. In Uncharted, Nathan Drake ages, so like it makes sense for his chapter to end. But for the main character in Shenmue, I feel like he still got some life in him. He can go a little bit more.
I don't know this full story of like Shenmue 3. I just know they have
Man,
like a
so
lot
why
of
you
things
want
up
closure if you don't even know the story?
I'm just saying that's what fans wanted because I read why it was such a big disappointment.
Shenmue 3, it was just a dated game. That was the issue. It was dated, and there was no way it was going to be able to compete with a lot of AAA titles.
I heard they didn't try to reinvent it. It was just the same.
They did it.
shit.
Yeah.
And when you compare it to other games like Yakuza, right? Or you compare it to even AAA games like
Grand
Assassin's
Theft
Creed
Auto.
or Grand Theft Auto or whatever it is, like it just didn't turn the page.
That's true. Well, like I said, I've said my piece on it, so there's that. So it's just going to be interesting to see how Lucasfilm Gaming is going to go about and what's going to be happening with the Star Wars IP going on,
Yeah.
and see if they will be still keeping a deal with EA, because I would like to see another Fallen Order right there.
They're gonna see what developers make them the most money.
Yeah. But I will say this, if someone out there who works for Disney or EA or something like that, just please let Fallen Order, like, just number 2 come out. You can end it after that. Just give me some closure on that.
I support that.
That's
I support that. I love that game. That game was really good.
Yeah, that game's amazing. So, now to a very serious topic. Capcom and their leak. So, you guys heard of it. A lot of games got leaked out, basically personal data from the company saying Resident Evil 9 will be in the making, Resident Evil Outbreak will be in the making as well as a Resident Evil 4 remake. What happened? Oh, AJ. AJ's probably freaking out inside right now. We just don't hear him screaming because he muted his mic.
He muted his mic just now.
He knows it's going to be hell to edit that afterwards, so he just muted.
I hate you guys.
Well, it's hard to say when you give yourself the title Resident of Raccoon, so... yeah, so we have that, but as well as there was a huge data breach that happened with personal customer information. So if you were to, let's say, buy something from Capcom's online store, or if they were hosting an esports event and you bought merchandise from there, your credit card data may be hacked.
That news
that's
came out
something
recently, right? That was this week that came out.
That came out recently, like this week. But
Yeah.
the leak came out about, like, the personal stuff came back out in November. And then recently, they just now announced, like, yeah, this was actually a much more severe hack than usual. Like, we just now noticed that a lot of data has been taken out.
So I don't want to say anything like negative, and I don't want to put a lot of information out there because if this does blow up for me, this whole content creator shit, I want to be in good terms with Capcom. I'm just saying, Capcom, yo, what's up? I want to
Send your boy some Street Fighter 6 games.
I'll be better than Maximilian, dude. I promise.
Anyone's better than Maximilian, let's be honest.
So
that's on podcast now. Oh shit.
I'll cut that out. Don't worry.
No, leave it in. I want people to know.
I feel like, right, the kids, this whole thing. First of all, one negative, you guys lied, right? That they lied about that, didn't they? They said no personal information was given out.
No,
sure if it was
the
lying or
number that they said was much smaller. They weren't aware of how much information was. I mean, it's not like when someone hacks your computer,
You
they're
know.
like, "This is what we took."
Yeah. Like they send you an email like, "Hey, by
I only
the
took
way."
7 of your bitcoins. Don't worry.
Yeah. So when the hackers tried to contact Capcom, they informed them they had like a terabyte worth of information, but Capcom wasn't aware of what it was that was stolen. So after all the time it took of them, I guess, checking their security and whatnot, see what actually got stolen, they were aware of the information that was stolen, like the personal information. They thought it was limited to just employees, but it's actually customers and employees at a much, much larger scale than anticipated.
So I mean, it's rough, right? That's rough to happen to anyone. Like being hacked is not cool, man. Like that sucks so much. And I think that like I'm when I heard what's coming out or what they're quote unquote planning on, I still took it with a grain of salt, and I still am. I'm not gonna believe
You
all
still
of that
gotta
yet.
take that stuff. Yeah.
That's not true to me yet until it's officially confirmed.
Until you see
Until I
trailers for
see
it.
the Resident Evil trailers, then I will believe.
Exactly. Because that could just be also anyone posing as the hacker and trying to put out this fake information as if they were
That is true.
the hacker, you know? If
That's his name, the hacker.
The hacker?
I'm elite the hacker,
The hacker.
so I feel
aka
like
Mr. Robot.
I feel like it does suck if this information is true, right?
Mhm.
It sucks because that takes the satisfaction of, hey, this is what we're working on. Here's a trailer for it, and it takes that hype away because when you see it, you're like, oh, I already knew this. This is kind of already happening. And then I know RE8 got leaked, like all of the information of it, right?
The bosses, story trailers,
Yeah.
or the endings.
Yeah. So I didn't look at all of it.
Yeah, that's type of stuff with like ending trailers and everything like that. You do kind of have to take that with grains of salt because remember, Last of Us 2 story got leaked and hacked,
Yeah.
and that turned out to be nothing more than bull.
Yeah. So I didn't like, I literally saw one little tweet about REA and I didn't like look at anything else. I was like, okay, that's enough. But I feel like that's just sucks, man. But this also implements with their content creator policy, right? So now they're making sure that you're not making like you're not selling this information, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, you're not like taking the leak page and like, hey guys, this is everything that Capcom's doing, right? So like I'm not gonna say it all here because that's fucked up, right? I feel like they're now limiting also what you do with their properties, and then on top of that, this is where the RE showcase is coming, right? So a lot of shit was leaked for RE8. The RE showcase is kind of them confirming or deconfirming a lot of that, right? We don't know what is going to be presented there. I believe it's just going to be an RE8 release date and a trailer. The Netflix series, they'll talk about that. The movie, I feel maybe we'll get like a teaser trailer for the movie because the movie's done filming.
Yeah.
And then maybe a teaser for like a game that's coming out, right? Maybe that's if.
Looking forward to
Just
that.
want to give their take.
No.
Is this going to affect you guys, like moving forward, like buying any Capcom products? Like, do you feel like this is actually going to be a hit for their upcoming game, Monster Hunter Rising?
Not at all.
Because
No.
some people do prefer buying it from the site directly because they feel like they might get like a little like incentive thing. So yeah, basically I'll buy at like mom and pop shops or something else. But I'll mainly go to Nintendo World just because I want to see if they give me a little extra, and normally that's the case. So I feel like that's why some people will buy like from the developer or the company directly, is because they feel like they might get a little something extra in like that shipping right there.
Yeah, I agree.
That-
What was
Does
that?
Capcom have like any incentive when you buy games off their website? Because I mean, I've bought a couple games directly off the Capcom website, but it doesn't seem like they offer anything like Nintendo.
I think
Nintendo's pretty big on offering extra.
but I also think it makes you feel good that you're supporting Capcom directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also like another thing as well. Like you're like, I want to make sure they get this money right here, even though I don't think it will be lost in translation anyway.
Mm-mm. I'm a Capcom bootlegger, so
We know.
so I'd buy anything. I'm probably not gonna
Question
get
is,
the next
what was
Monster
your
Hunter.
opinion on Street Fighter V? Can you tell me that?
I love Street Fighter 5.
It's okay, so it holds up then.
Yeah, I love Street Fighter 5. I think I don't like defend it when people talk shit about it. I'm not like
Yeah, okay, you got to now cut that because you want to make sure you're on Capcom's side on this, so they
no.
can send you this
Capcom can hear
6.
this. This is constructive criticism. This is constructive
They don't
criticism.
want to hear constructive criticism. That's why Maximilian
In the
gets all this
policy
shit from
said
them.
all in the policy it said it just has to be entertaining, and I'm gonna make it as entertaining as possible, right?
I mean, honestly, you're already doing a better job than Maximilian, so you already got.
Oh, Max, I want to be good in with you too. The actions
I
and the
don't wanna be
words
good with
of
you.
the rest of the podcast do not relate to mine. Just letting you know. You gotta put a disclaimer on the
I'm gonna get a
screen.
lot of shitstorm for that, but I don't care.
It's okay. We're leaving his Twitter handle so we can shit on him.
Yeah, what's your
Yeah, I
Twitter
got-
handle, Zero?
My Twitter handle, I don't have one,
Or you gonna make
so
one?
there's that. Good luck finding me.
I feel like I don't know. I'm not the bootlicker in the sense of like everything is great and perfect, right? Like
Yeah.
I bought Umbrella Corps. I bought Operation Raccoon. Oh, I like Operation Raccoon City. I bought.
Thank God someone else likes it as well.
I bought RE5. I bought RE6. Do I fucking like those games? No. You know, like,
But we still play them.
but we still play. I played it today.
Yep, we were playing RE5 today.
Yep. You know, it's a fun multiplayer game. You got to give it that, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like Street Fighter 5 has gotten better with time. It ages like fine wine. Like now that game is something else, and I think that where they're taking the game for this year is great, right? Akira, Dan, Oro, Rose, and this mystery character. They're trying, right? This is the thing, is they're trying. Capcom has seen a resurgence since RE7, and they're trying. Monster Hunter, for example. Like, I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter geek. I don't really play Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World was my only and first Monster Hunter, right? But I think the series is great through what I played in Hunter and on Monster Hunter World, excuse me.
We played the Iceborne pack.
We played Iceborne, and I love Iceborne. I want to keep playing it. Sometimes I don't have the time for it because there's other things that I'm playing, but I want to play. I'm not gonna get the next Monster Hunter, and it's not because it's Monster Hunter. I don't like Monster Hunter, it's just because it's on the Switch. But that you know,
because we also have Generations, and you didn't really touch that one.
yeah, I didn't like the way it looked on the Switch. But
I can say is there goes us doing an outing on Monster Hunter Rise, so everyone's sorry. That's not happening.
So no one's getting Monster Hunter, I assume.
Oh, I'm getting Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, so
I'm
you're
I'm
sorry.
definitely not getting that.
Okay, so at least one person will have it, and you can talk about it. But I
Podcast
feel
with
like
just 2 people.
I don't mind hearing about it, right? I talked about Cyberpunk for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but Cyberpunk was like very interesting. Even if you didn't know about it, it was just like very fascinating to hear like XYZ about it.
like hear it firsthand, right? Like by somebody who actually
Yeah.
played it. So, but other titles I will support, like Street Fighter. I will support Street Fighters at the end of time. Resident Evil, I will support Resident Evil no matter what, and I have supported Resident Evil through its darkest fucking times, right?
You'll die on
During
free
Umbrella
Resident
Corps,
Evil.
I think you basically branded yourself as the king of all Resident Evil right
I
there.
own the fucking board games. I own the figures. I will
Can't
support
wait.
it through anything. Will I love it all? Probably not, because I only love about half of it. But that half of it is so amazing that
That makes up for the other half.
it makes up for that other half, exactly. And I think that their resurgence with 7 going into 2 and 3 and the Revelations games, you know, now 8 looks really good. Like, I love the way 8 looks. I'm always for a new direction that helps the series grow, you know, like how RE4 helped it, but then Mr. Redfield took it to hell.
You know,
I'm all
save that
that.
for the Resident Evil podcast because me and you're gonna have one hell of a debate on that one. Even though
So-
I'm a huge Leon fan, I feel like Chris didn't kill it.
Oh my god, you were serious when you said you liked 5. I thought that was a joke.
I didn't. No. Here's the thing. I like 5 because of how fucking crazy it was with punching that fucking boulder man. That's the only reason.
But that's the end of the game. What did you like the rest of the game?
That means you just play that one chapter.
Sheva. Just Sheva. Come on, Sheva. Let's go, Sheva. That's all I really loved about it. But I'm also, like I said, I like Chris, but my favorite will always be Leon. Hell, I even have a hoodie that's basically dedicated to Raccoon City Police Department. That's like inspired by Leon's like gear.
I hate Chris Redfield, so.
Again, we'll have some debates on this.
So
Yeah,
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's say you're like, because I remember back when we talked about like an upcoming Smash character, you said you wanted somebody from Resident Evil.
Yeah.
What if they bring Chris Redfield into Smash?
I feel like he wouldn't. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like he doesn't deserve it in that sense. Leon should be in there. Chris is in not Resident Evil.
In Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, he's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well as Project Cross Zone as well. So I feel like, hey, take a step back. Let Leon have his moment. Or you know what? Give me Jill. Give me Claire. Give me Ada. Give me Shirley. Give me one of those girls. I wouldn't mind that.
I'm not gonna comment.
You wouldn't want Jill Valentine. No, better yet, you wouldn't want Claire Redfield.
I didn't say that. I just don't want Chris Redfield. I don't want Chris Redfield in anything. I want him gone. I want him fucking gone. Kill him off in RE8. Kill him off. Please, you should have killed him off in 6. He should have died in 6 in that tanker. He should have sent Piers up back to humanity, and Piers should have taken the mantle. Piers is a 10 times better character than what Capcom has done with Chris in the last fucking 5, 6, 7 years. God, that character is god awful. He's fucking Superman on steroids, and I like Superman. Like, I actually like Superman. I had a debate with StarWind on Superman. I think Superman's a good character, but I can't defend Chris Redfield. This character is garbage. He is literal garbage.
Pray to God someone at Capcom is not listening to this, because that person's probably like the president who created Chris in the first Resident Evil. He's like,
no, I like Resident Evil 1 Chris. He's great. I like him a lot. Code Veronica Chris is my favorite Chris. Hands down.
I can agree with on that one.
He actually is a likable hero. This Chris from 5 to now, he's just boring Captain America. Like, 100%. Like, this man is the worst.
He's action hero.
I gotta reel you in, man, because we're gonna need something for the Resident Evil podcast, man, when we do that. So save all that frustration.
I could go on and on about Chris, but this is my like, you know, I hope RE8 is the end of this.
We're gonna give you your own stream of you just taking on calls about people defending Chris Redfield and you just bashing him in there. I feel like that'll be the best 8 hours I can watch.
This man is the worst. He's the worst.
All right, so I feel like we should wrap things up. Any closing statements anyone
before
wants
AJ
to say?
catches the aneurysm.
Not even that, before AJ just like continues on the podcast for another 3 hours, just going. And fact number 37, when Chris saw Claire, he didn't even hug her or say, "Hey, it's good to see us." Fuck him. Fuck everyone who loves him.
I think real quick before we close this off, right?
Yes.
Like abridged thoughts on a Mortal Kombat movie. We'll start with StarWind. Go.
I'm a little skeptical right now. I was looking at the cast and it got me feeling a little uneasy. There's not even a trailer out. I really want a trailer out so I can see. I'm actually super excited that the majority of the cast is Asian, but I'm slightly worried that a lot of them are stunt actors and not actual actors, which doesn't really make for a compelling movie to watch. Like, if I have to sit through extremely horrible dialogue and dry deliveries for semi-decent fight scenes, I'm gonna be a little upset. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm on edge right now.
Bugz, how are you feeling about a Mortal Kombat movie?
I'm actually looking at it now. I didn't even get a chance to look at this, to be honest.
What are your reactions then?
Due to I remember back then I saw one of the Mortal Kombat movies and I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I don't know. I'm looking at the photos right now that they have. I don't think this is it for it. I don't know. I just hope they do something good with it. To be honest.
Okay, Zero.
Let's be honest, nothing's ever going to capture that magic of the first Mortal Kombat movie. So I really don't care. It'll be interesting to see, but I'm not going to be willing to pay for it. I'll wait for it to come out like on Netflix or something like that.
Nah, it's dropping on HBO Max in April.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so I just got to make sure I get
So
that
we're all
one
gonna
free
watch it.
because I'm not paying.
Yeah.
We're all gonna watch it regardless. But
Yeah.
And that Kong versus
Godzilla.
is also coming out on HBO Max.
Yeah. My thoughts is no Johnny Cage, no watch. Even though
Fucking Cole. Who the fuck is this Cole guy?
Right?
Just washed
Oh,
up
yeah.
MMA
this
guy.
fake ass Johnny Cage guy.
Motherfucker.
He's what Ed Boon really wanted Johnny Cage to really be.
Oh,
A fucking bum?
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
This guy looks like a
a fucking
bum.
loser. All right, Zero, you can
All
give
right.
out your closing statements.
All right, so that was the podcast for this week. Again, we are Metaverse of Gaming. If you want to follow us, be sure to subscribe, like, ring the bell for notification, as well as follow us on Twitter at MetaverseG. And yeah, hopefully we'll be doing some more streaming later on AJ's channel, which is Resident of Raccoon at Twitch. And yeah, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Say bye, everybody.
Adios.
Peace,
that me?
peace. Fuck Chris Redfield. All right, bye, everybody.